Can Christians buy an insurance policy against the trials of life for a mere 10% of their income? Let's find out today. Welcome to the Prophet Dare. I'm Tim Kaiser, and on this channel, my desire is to inspire savvy stewardship. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you so much. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. And if you are a subscriber, blessings to you. So Malachi 3 verses 8 through 12, maybe sometimes 6 through 12, are typically what's used as proof text for tithing. And so we've been going through and defining each word in that text to simplify the notion, because sometimes people teach on that without defining their terms. And today we're going to talk about the devourer, this mystical, crazy boogeyman that seems to be involved in wrecking lives and money and checking accounts and washers and dryers and all kinds of stuff. So that's what I want to talk about today. So let's read Matthew 3 and verses 8 through 11. And this is the NASB. Will a man rob God? Yet you are robbing me. But you say, how have we robbed you? In tithes and offerings. You are cursed with a curse, for you are robbing me, the whole nation of you. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, so that there may be food in my house. And test me now in this, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you a blessing until it overflows. Then I will rebuke the devourer for you, so that it will not destroy the fruits of the ground, nor will your vine in the field cast its grapes, says the Lord of hosts. Real simple, and I've heard over my life the devourer is the person or is the entity that has freedom to wreak havoc in areas of a person's life when they spend money that's cursed because they didn't tithe. That's the long and short of it. I'm doing some original research on this and just asking people through a survey what they believe. And most people now don't believe there's a curse for not tithing, but still a lot of people do. A large chunk of people do. So how I hear it is the first 10th of your income belongs to God, and then the rest of the 90%, if one does that, is no longer cursed. That money is blessed. And so washing machines will last longer, cars will not wreck, people won't lose their jobs. I've even heard Christian teachers, pastors say that marriages can be restored and wayward prodigal kids can be returned for this. I believe this is a long stretch for this text. The text here in Malachi is we've defined tithes and offerings, we've defined the storehouse, and we've defined the curse that's here. The devourer actually is not some boogeyman. Now, some people they'll say the devourer is Satan. He's the devourer, and they'll go to John 10:10, says the thief comes not but to steal and to kill and to destroy, but I, Jesus, have come to give you life and life more abundantly. The context of what Jesus was speaking is false teachers. So the false teachers in that context are the thief. So a lot of times we give the devil, trust me, the devil doesn't need any more credit than he already gets. But the thief is not the devil in that, and the devourer isn't the devil. The devourer here, again, this is an agricultural community, and most pastors who teach this will say that, and they'll say that's why the tithe now is money rather than food, because back then they were all farmers and all they had was food, which is untrue, and we've proven that in different videos, because the tithe could be redeemed for money and exchanged for a 20% fee. The devourer is nothing more than pestilence, drought, things of that nature. Let's go into the NIV. The NIV actually defines this very well. And we'll just read verse 11, since I read verse 8, 9, and 10 already. In verse 11, it says, saying the devourer, NIV reads, I will prevent pests from devouring your crops, and the vines in the field will not drop their fruit before it is ripe, says the Lord Almighty. That's a great way of defining it. So we don't get to superimpose 21st century Christianity on old texts. Obviously, God knew when he made these Bible verses for us that this was the time that he needed to do it in. It's not like we can say, oh, well, that's then and now is now. We need to read the text in its context. And yes, is there life applicability to these things in all these scriptures? Often there is, but we don't get to change the meaning of the text to fit our life. The devourer is pestilence or pests, locusts, I guess you could say, because here the tithe being fruit of the ground, grains and fruits and grapes, animals, these are things that only God can do. We can plant the seed, weed the garden, so to speak, but only God makes these things grow. And the seed time and harvest, as he talked in Genesis 8, is on him. Creating an animal in the womb is on him. Creating a fruit tree out of a seed and having fruit grow in perpetuity is on God. These are things only God can do. And that's why the tithe of the ground was food. And so we have to continue to do that. That's why it was so important that only, we can't control the weather. You can pray for rain. I guess you can. Elijah prayed for rain and it happened. Prayed it didn't rain and it happened. But this is not an everyday thing. And so the devourer, having the proper rain seasons and weather patterns and not having frost or whatever that can destroy your crops, keeping the locusts and the little varmints out of the field, these are things that God promised to do for them. It's not us keeping our washing machine living long past its past due date, or our cars not being wrecked, or us being saved when companies right size or downsize. We have been redeemed from the curse of the law. We're just not immune to the effects of the fall. We don't get a free pass on this because we're Christians. By giving 10% of one's income, you're not buying an insurance policy against the trials of life. Matter of fact, according to the apostles, particularly Peter, Paul, and James, we should embrace these things, these bad things that happen to our life, not say, let's buy an insurance policy called the tithe to prevent them from happening in our lives. But that's what the devourer is. The devourer is not Satan. It's not the seed eater. It's not some kind of boogeyman that's hiding in your closet to strike because you forgot to pay it 10% of your income, some arbitrary number that some preacher made up. No, the devourer is varmints and pestilence and things of that nature that were harming the people of Israel, the farmers of Israel, and that curse that was on that land at that point was because they were not following the law, and the curses from Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26 came upon them. Make sense? I hope this did. I hope this video has been a blessing to you. It's helped somebody. Again, just trying to define terms. If this video has been helpful to you, please like, subscribe, share. I will see you soon with a new video. Until then, I dare you to profit so you can practice and promote radical, revolutionary, fearless generosity. Blessings to you.